August 23rd of 2025, we have a new moon happening in 0 degrees of Virgo, which is one of a two-piece set. The later Virgo new moon being in September of 2025 and also being an eclipse. And so for that reason, this new moon in August of 2025 is like a trial run for some of the major destined fated shifts that are coming into our life this September. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know regarding this new moon on August of 2025 and how you can align with this transit to prepare for the massive destined changes that can be coming your way in September with eclipse season and the solar eclipse in Virgo. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Isabel, your spiritual rebel friend, and today we are talking about the new moon that is happening on August 23rd of 2025, and especially highlighting its importance regarding eclipse season. Because as I said in my long spiel of an intro, this new moon is one of a two-piece set. The second Virgo new moon will take place at the end of September at 29 degrees of Virgo. So we have two new moons happening in Virgo this year. And so for that reason, this new moon in Virgo on August 23rd is extremely important. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly why. So in today's video specifically, I'm going to cover the details and what exactly this new moon in Virgo on August 23rd is all about. And I'm going to cover advice for exactly how your sign should interact with this new moon, what exact intentions you may want to set specifically with this new moon in Virgo. And because it plays such a heavy role on this eclipse, we're going to talk about why this new moon is so heavily tied to eclipse season in September in 2025. And of course, if you want to go deeper into how exactly this new moon is going to play out for you, how you can align with this new moon to set the right intentions for the destined shifts that you crave in your life, then I invite you to book a reading in the link in the description box below, where in half an hour or 1 hour, we can dive deep into your unique energetic imprint and how you're being affected by this new moon in Virgo and how this plays into the greater storyline that is now starting to unfold as of this new moon with eclipse season that brings destiny your way. Again, we're going to talk about why exactly eclipse season is tied into this new moon later in the video. But first, let's dive into what exactly this new moon on August 23rd is all about. Again, remember that we can feel the effects of every new and full moon the 3 days before and the 3 days after the peak of new or full moon. So this new moon on the 23rd of August is active from the 20th through to the 26th, with its energy peaking on the 23rd. The 3 days that lead up to a new moon can feel like we're trying to slowly release. It can feel like we're slowly coming to realizations. The day of the new moon is when we can realize the beginning of the intentions we wish to set. And the 3 days that follow are where we can start seeing what is likely to come from these intentions that we're setting. So it's like we're slowing our momentum, coming to a stopping point, and then rebuilding the momentum forward. A new moon kind of acts like a stop sign or a stoplight from the universe, but for the sake of asking us to reestablish where we are standing in our lives, how our life is making us feel, and how we can better implement change into a certain area of our life. Now, given that this new moon is happening in Virgo, this has to do in the most basic, mundane, simplistic interpretation with setting intentions and establishing or reassessing, that's the word, reassessing our relationship with Virgo qualities. The qualities that are as follows: perfectionism, criticism, materialism, practicality, stability, routine, schedules. Virgo represents as the second earth sign our effort, our relationship to effort. It is the archetype of effort. I heard someone say in a recent video that they liked that I described Virgo this way, hence why I'm bringing it back. It is the archetype of effort, as it is the second earth sign, Taurus being where we just indulge in the physical world. Virgo is where we start to establish, how do I want to move through the world and do things? How do I want to take action? Now, granted, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which has a lot to do with our mental process, more so than our physical action. But given that Virgo is an earth sign, how we put in effort can be highly accentuated during this new moon, specifically in how we perceive our efforts. Are we giving too much or giving too little? The new moon in Virgo on August 23rd is inviting us to initiate something new that is more stable, that is more humble and security oriented, something that is more grounded, arguably potentially more selfless, and releases the habits that we no longer need around criticism or perfectionism. With a new moon, the idea is overall still that we do have to oftentimes let things go or put things on the back burner in order to initiate something new. And so while this isn't a full moon that is bringing to light perfectionist patterns or critical patterns that need to be released, we may be setting new intentions that emit or omit that energy, saying, I'm going to do this so that I'm not being perfectionist. I'm going to be this so I'm not being critical towards myself. But that's just the general themes with having this new moon in Virgo. However, we have a greater storyline unfolding here. And that is because we are going to have eclipses in Virgo and because we have the South Node in Virgo. As of January of 2025, the South Node entered Virgo and the North Node entered Pisces. And if you have followed my channel at all as of this year, you will know that I say commonly that if you're going to pay attention to any one transit, I would recommend the North and South Node. I would argue that all other transits are, so to say, in service to the North and South Node transits, because the North Node is our highest path to growth in this lifetime in our chart. And in transit, it's our next step forward in our path. Basically, the North Node takes 18 months to transit different parts of our chart, different signs that is, and we are called to grow in that area of life. That is the next step we need to take in order to live our soul's purpose. And so it's in a constant refinement of different areas of our life. So with the North Node in Pisces, as of January of 2025, we are growing into themes of trust, surrender, faith, unconditional love, compassion, and spirituality in a certain area of our life, depending on what house Pisces is in your chart and for your sun sign. But not only is the North Node in Pisces saying let's grow into these themes, we have to make space for that. And that is where the South Node work comes in. Wherever the South Node is transiting, that's like where we're doing demo work in order to build something greater, or we're cleaning out closets, better said. Imagine that this is literally a house and that you have rooms that you go through each month of the year, day of the year, cleaning out. That is the effect the South Node has. It releases what no longer serves us regarding certain themes showing up in a certain area of our life. So with the South Node in Virgo, as of January 11th of 2025, we are cleansing, releasing, purging, and detoxing the traits of perfectionism, criticism, materialism, practicality, and stability that are no longer serving us. Chances are we have noticed somewhere each in our lives where we're putting in too much effort and focusing too much on material results and putting too much focus on in general. And so we are being called over this year to release our effort in that area of life and to surrender more and trust more and not do so much, because chances are it's burning us out. So why am I bringing up the North and South Node? They are not conjunct technically this new moon. However, the North Node being in Pisces and South Node in Virgo are, for one, the most important transit to note, arguably, I would say, above all else. And because we have a new moon happening in the same sign, they are tied into the storyline. And secondarily, with the North and South Node being in Virgo, we have had the majority of our eclipses this year in Virgo, Pisces, or in Virgo and Pisces, with one last eclipse in Aries in March. So we had a lunar eclipse in Virgo in March, specifically March 14th of 2025. And now we are going to have our new moon solar eclipse in Virgo, September 21st of 2025, along with a lunar eclipse in Pisces on September 7th. So the fact that this new moon is present in Virgo at specifically 0 degrees on the 23rd of August of 2025 plays into the storyline that is present with the South Node transiting Virgo, the eclipse that happened in March 14th in Virgo, and the eclipse season we are going to have between Pisces and Virgo in September of 2025. So look back to when we had the lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 14th. What were you doing, releasing, or realizing during that time frame? because now it's been almost 6 months since that lunar eclipse that brought you revelations and realizations. Now it's time for you to initiate something new. When we have the new moon solar eclipse in Virgo on September 21st, you're going to be having destined and fated shifts in your life that are to align you with your soul's purpose. You're probably going to initiate some form of relationship with effort and service, redefine your relationship with perfectionism and criticism, and change your approach to your material reality. But in order to align with this destined shift, we have a trial run of what needs to be initiated first during this time. And that is with this new moon in Virgo on August 23rd. This new moon acts as a trial run for something you desire to initiate in your life regarding Virgo themes in your life. I do recommend you look at what house Virgo is according to your sun and rising in order to understand where you're being called to initiate new intentions. And I will cover that a bit at my advice segment at the end of this video for each sign on what you should initiate based off your sign. But of course, I want you to come up with this conclusion a bit on your own. Looking back to March 15th can give you an idea of what needs to be initiated. What came up for you then? Maybe you realized your self-critical patterns. Maybe you burnt yourself out in your health. Maybe you had something change in your home life. Maybe you realized an inner dialogue. Maybe you were surrounded by a critical figure that disappeared, moved out of your life, so to say. Something was going on for you mentally or physically in your life during that lunar eclipse. And this is in alignment with your soul's purpose. Again, in the end, any Virgo events that we have going on right now are calling us to cleanse, purge, release, and detox what no longer serves us in regards to perfectionistic, materialistic, or critical behaviors. And now the final aspect I want to touch on that regarding this new moon in Virgo that is important to note on August 23rd, that is at 0 degrees. It forms a square to Uranus newly in Gemini at 1 degree. So it's not a fully exact square, but pretty darn close. All I'm going to simply say with that is expect the unexpected, especially with your way of thinking. Both Virgo and Gemini are ruled by Mercury, the planet of the mind. And so I wouldn't be surprised if whatever it is you initiate during this new moon is coming from something unexpected coming up in your life that requires you to change your way of perceiving and thinking. With this being a square aspect, it really does push the motive for action. I love how squares are described, especially by other people, that it creates friction to ignite a spark of action. Think about a square as a corner. And if we want to reach a conclusion point, we have to move both sides forward. So squares push us to act. And given that there's a square present with this new moon, and it's really the only major aspect present with this new moon, we are being called to take action, probably through some form of unexpected change in our life or unexpected change to our way of thinking. It may be uncomfortable and challenging, but by taking action, we find our alignment. So I do recommend truly that not only is this new moon a great time to trial run something in your life for 1 month until the solar eclipse in Virgo, but it really pushes us to act and do something different that is aligned with an innovative way of thinking so that we can create change in our life. It's like the saying goes, if you want change in your life, you have to be open to change. Or if you want change in your life, you have to change. So before I even go into my next segment talking about what I would potentially advise for your sun and rising sign, really take a moment to pause this video and think about, what do I want to change in my life? What do I want to be different? Whether that's something clear, very clear vision, or just a general concept that you want changed. And how can I take one step forward to changing that? Is it a change in mentality? Is it a change in my physical reality, something I change around me? Or is it a change way I move through my reality? Start with that question, write it out, get clear. I do really recommend writing these intentions as this is ruled by Mercury, and making our thoughts clear during this time is very, very important. And also remember to be open to unexpected change with this new moon. So with that all out of the way, let's go into very quick what I would advise you initiate with this new moon based off of your sun and rising sign. What I'm specifically going to say is where you should be considering initiating change. And specifically, look back to March 14th of 2025. What was going on in this same area of your life then? What can you derive from that time period in your life to help you understand what changes you want to initiate now? If you are an Aries sun or rising, the new moon in Virgo is activating your 6th house of health, wellness, routines, schedules, rhythms, and daily work, daily services. So if you work a 9-to-5 job, this is in the spotlight for you, those who have clock in, clock out daily jobs. What do you want to initiate here? And how can you pull from the wisdom of what you learned about yourself in this area of your life on March 14th of 2025 and around that time period to set new intentions now? For a Taurus sun or rising, this new moon in Virgo activates your 5th house of creativity, romance, pleasure, play, and dating. So what was going on in the areas of life I've just mentioned back in March of 2025, around the 14th? What were you realizing then? Now set new intentions in these areas of life for this area of life that align with the energies you want to embrace, so to say, in this area of your life, whether that is more stability, more routine, more groundedness, less perfectionism or expectation. What can you shift in your romance, your creative pursuits, your dating life, and what you consider to be play? If you are a Gemini sun or rising, the new moon in Virgo is in your 4th house of home, place of living, and family. So what can you initiate new here for 1 month as a trial run in alignment with what you think you want, need, or desire? And look back to March 14th of 2025. What was going on in your life around this time period in regards to your home and family? Pull from the past to gain wisdom on what you want to initiate now. You are a Cancer sun or rising. The new moon in Virgo is activating your 3rd house of your daily network, daily communications, teaching, writing, publishings. So this is either for you, Cancers, talking about a storyline that is playing out regarding your daily physical network, your neighbors and the people you interact with daily, or this is your digital daily network, your social media presence and teaching. If you're someone who is writing a book, publishing content, or who interacts with a daily community, these areas of life are in focus to initiate something new here. Look back to around March 14th of 2025 to gain wisdom on what you were experiencing then and how this can help you gain insight into what you want to initiate as a trial run in your life now. Leo sun and rising, the new moon in Virgo activates your 2nd house of self-worth and wealth. So your self-sufficiency is being highlighted with this new moon. Initiating something new that establishes greater self-sufficiency, self-security, financial stability, and self-worth is what you're being invited to do. Look back to March 14th of 2025 for wisdom on what you want to initiate now. Virgo sun and rising, you are in the spotlight with this new moon in your sign, and it is very important for you to notice what is coming up for you now, along with Pisces. You guys are seriously in the spotlight for this new moon, and you are about to head strongly into the spotlight in the month of September, your birthday season of 2025. So observe what you want to initiate around your sense of self and who you want to be during this time. This new moon in Virgo is in your 1st house, your sense of self, your appearance, your identity. And you can look back to March 14th of 2025 to get insight into what it is you want to initiate now. Libra sun and rising, this new moon in Virgo activates your 12th house of unconscious mind, psychological patterns, unconscious fears. So what do you want to initiate that is new in regards to how you understand your unconscious mind, relate to your unconscious mind, and work through your unconscious programming? This is about your inner work practice and your relationship with solitude. And you can look back to March 14th of 2025 to gain insight into what it is you want to initiate now. So look back to March 14th 14th roughly, what was going on in your life, pull from them to identify what it is you want to initiate and trial run for the next month until the solar eclipse in Virgo. Scorpio sun and risings, the new moon in Virgo is activating your 11th house of purpose and community. What do you want to initiate in regards to your friend groups, your community, your sense of importance, your sense of belonging, the people that make you feel like you belong, and the things and work you do for a sense of purpose? This is something that you're trial running for the next month until the solar eclipse in Virgo. And you can look back to our last eclipse, the lunar eclipse in Virgo we had around March 14th. What was going on in your sense of purpose, community, friend groups, and sense of importance? What were your aspirations and community like during that time period? Pull from what you learned then to figure out what you want to initiate with this new moon now. Sagittarius sun and rising. The new moon is activating your 10th house of career, profession, and public image to initiate something new. So look back to March of 2025, specifically around the first half, around the 15th. What were you realizing in regards to your career, your profession, your public image, and the work that you are seen for during that time? You can pull from the past to gain clarity on what it is you want to initiate with this new moon in Virgo. This is something that you're going to be trial running for a month until the solar eclipse in Virgo. So initiating something new around your career, your public image, and profession is what you're being called to do with this new moon. Capricorn sun and rising. The new moon is in Virgo in your 9th house of personal beliefs, ideologies, and travels. This is about your physical and mental explorations. So what were you doing in your life around March 14th regarding this topic? Were you traveling? Were you exploring something physically? Were you exploring something mentally? Pull from the past to gain an idea on what it is you want to initiate that is new in this area of life, similar to what was going on back then. This is something to do with your personal beliefs, your religious beliefs, the ideologies that you hold, the beliefs that shape who you are and change how you live, and the places that you explore that give you greater insight into what creates a meaningful life. Initiating something new here will be a trial run for the destined changes that are yet to come with the new moon solar eclipse in Virgo that we're going to have in September. Aquarius sun and rising. The new moon in Virgo is activating your 8th house of intimate relationships as well as your shared resources. So what this can likely mean for you is that you're initiating something new in how you trust others and what you share with them, whether that's sharing physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, or something else with others. How do you let other people into your life in dependent ways? To clarify that, in dependent ways, so that you can gain more fulfillment in life. This is about your trusting relationships. Look back to March of 2025. What was going on in regards to your intimate relationships? Maybe you let an intimate relationship go. Maybe you noticed codependent patterns. Maybe you noticed attachment issues. What was coming up for you then? Derive from the past and pull from it to understand what it is you want to initiate as a trial run until the solar eclipse now. Finally, my lovely Pisces sun and rising, you are in the spotlight with Virgos during this new moon in Virgo in your 7th house of romantic relationships, platonic relationships, one-on-one connections, business partnerships, marriages, and legal contract relationships. What do you want to initiate in your one-on-one relationships, whether that is a new relationship or an expectation of relationships? Look back to March 14th of 2025, around that time period. What was going on with your relationships? What was going on with your friendships, your partnerships, your business partnerships, your romantic partnerships? Pull from the past to get a better idea of what you want to initiate now with this new moon in Virgo for 1 month as a trial run before we have the solar eclipse in Virgo that's going to bring you destined shifts to your life. And this whole eclipse season is so highlighting you. You're majorly in the spotlight starting now with this new moon in Virgo. So really get clear on who you want to be and who you want to be in relationship to other people so that you can align with this solar eclipse and this lunar eclipse, this whole eclipse season with ease. So let me know down in the comments below. What is your sun sign? What is your rising sign? What are you feeling called to initiate with this new moon in Virgo? How can you trial run it for 1 month time before the new moon solar eclipse that we are going to have on September 21st? What was going on in your life around the 14th of March? What were you realizing, letting go of? What fell apart? What came to a destruction point? What was no longer serving you? What did you realize and learn around March? Because this really can give you some insight into what you want to initiate now that is in alignment with what you want. I would love to hear your thoughts and what you're initiating and intending with this new moon down in the comments below. And be sure to share this video if it helped you get clarity on what exactly this new moon is all about. If you want to go deeper into how exactly this new moon is going to play out for you and what to expect with the upcoming eclipse season that is going to completely change our world, whether that's in small, subtle ways at first or in major shifts all at once, then I invite you to book a reading down in the description box below, where in 1 hour we can dive deep into any and everything regarding your stars, your unique desires, and how you can align with the stars to attain those desires and get clear on your purpose. The link is in the description box below for readings. Drop a comment down below or email me if you have any questions regarding these readings, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos breaking down the stars and more. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I sincerely hope you enjoyed. Until next time, once again, my name's Isabel, and from my heart to yours, namaste.